As I do more videos here on TikTok going forward, I want to make videos that are a little more bold and kind of address issues more towards a targeted group where I can. And I'm planning on being a little more aggressive with some of the content that I make and, again, more direct with some of the videos that I make. For this video, I'm going to be addressing my local thrift stores, more so the leadership that runs these organizations, and more specifically onto that, I'm directing my attention to the executives and presidents of the ARC Thrift Stores and Goodwill Industries of Colorado. I'm pretty sure that neither the board of directors nor the presidents of these organizations have TikTok accounts. They're generally just not in the age group to have that. Now, if you're someone that is screening this video for either of these organizations or screens videos for these organizations, please note this video is not made to rag on these organizations or to make anyone in an executive position feel bad. Not that I think it would anyway, but for those of you that may bring this to the attention of those people I'm addressing, please make sure that this is clear. And also for the general thrift shopper and reseller, please make sure this is clear that the point of this video is not to make you hate these people or thrift. It's to educate. There are tons of business articles that point out how each year people find out what executives at these nonprofits make, and then they go online and they get really angry, or they make videos and get really angry, and then they kind of quiet down and nothing comes of it. And then additionally, the same other articles will talk about how executives come out and they say they feel they're not getting paid fairly or not on the same par as their for-profit counterparts. And, I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of that because it's two different types. Nonprofit, for-profit are two different things, and you can't compare the pay to those two things for multiple reasons. I'm not going to explain it all here because I feel that this video is already going to be long as it is, and that could be its own video. No, I'm here to talk about improving thrift for everyone and in a way that will also clean up the image of thrift. It is no secret at this point that thrift shop model has a problem and that the image of thrift shops has been deteriorating since before the pandemic. Now, you don't have to look very far on the internet to find article after article and post after post, both on video platforms and text platforms, where people are very upset about the current state of thrift. And that's both the thrift shoppers, people that just go in as normal customers, and resellers alike. Thrift is presenting itself in a very bad way these days. One of the biggest issues is that most people see that thrift shops get their stuff for free. Nonprofits get their items donated to them for free, yet trip after trip where people go and show, what they're buying or potentially looking to buy, and where resellers are trying to make a living off of thrift, and they get a bad rap for that, by the way, which that's a whole nother thing on its own. But we start seeing that items in thrift are being sold for, close to retail value, at retail value, or above retail value for used items. These are used items. In addition, it has been found and reported, there are numerous articles for this, I have talked about them here, where thrift shops are destroying items that they can't sell under the guise of that there's just nothing we can do with them, guys. We have to get rid of them. Essentially, though, with that in mind, the message has been very clear from Thrift. Here is one of the messages that Thrift is putting out, that if you can't sell it at a price that you think it should sell at, you're just not going to sell it and you'd rather destroy it. Now, we're well aware of the issue already with low employee pay and the excuses given in there. And I say excuses because that's what I'm hearing. I understand the different methods you have of employees being paid. It's still not right in the eyes of a lot of people, and you have to try to get on board with that. But beyond that, the other issue I've seen is that I've seen homeless people just simply looking for a coat, a shirt, maybe a pair of pants, or a blanket, and Goodwill does not care anymore, nor do the other thrift shops. You treat these people like dirt. You get the items for free again. You could be helping these people, and you run them off with no sympathy. You have trained your employees to treat these people horribly because they just need a basic necessity, which is not right. The other big issue is you guys are trying to enter the online retail space. That is not your place to be, and you're doing it completely wrong. There are methods to do it, but not that are going to work for you. And as a result, you're going to destroy the thrift market and the online resale market for everyone. You will tank it, and it already has been tanked as a result. I'll go far to say this. A lot of people will say that the resale market has been tanked by resellers. It's not. Thrift prices are also not up because of resellers. That is not accurate. The online marketplace is being destroyed because of thrift shops, and that is easily provable. Thrift shops were never meant to be ran to make 2 to 3 times the profit on an item. Thrift shops are no longer running like thrift shops. They're running like pawn shops. And the problem is you get your items for free. It's not like you're buying them at part of the value in the reselling. You're running like pawn shops. That is a problem. Now, to move on, CEO pay is a point of contention, and I'm going to bring up a couple numbers here. I'm not going to mention the names of these people. I think I can because it's public information, but I'm not going to here. But I'm going to put it this way. The president, I'm looking at numbers on the side of it, the president of the ARC Thrift stores makes, as of 2022, over $500,000 for his base salary. Now, that number does fluctuate, but it appears he's never made less since 2014, never made less than $380,000. As for Goodwill, the president of that company has made up to, as of 2020, $687,000. That's a lot, and has never made less since 2013, because data doesn't go back further than that for Goodwill Industries here in Colorado. Never made less than $280,000. Of further note, none of the executives that work on the boards for these companies has made less than $100,000 per the reporting that you can see. I'm getting these numbers from ProPublica.org. They have a nonprofit explorer section where you can plug these companies in. I urge you to go look at that data, and I'll be pulling data from here if I do a more deep dive on these things. Again, that's not to attack these people. I'm just bringing these points up because that seems like a lot of money. Over $500,000 for a president of a thrift shop makes no sense. And I know most online articles are going to say that the basic wisdom is they should make no more than 10% of their operating expense. And I'm pretty sure that's probably somewhere within that number. I don't have access to their operating expense data. I don't know what that is, but it is kind of ridiculous that they're getting that much money and essentially, to a degree, kind of ripping people off with pricing. I'm not going to get too much more into that at this point because that's not the point of this video. So why am I bringing all of this up? Because the price hikes in the stores make no sense. They don't fit with anything. The poor pay to employees makes no sense. The destruction of sales markets makes no sense. The contribution of waste to the environment that these thrift shops are now providing makes no sense. The pay to the president and CEOs makes no sense. The business model that Thrift has right now makes no sense for both Thrift and the general public. Unless you factor in that the current state of Thrift is only to make sure that the executives keep their pay where it's at and that the higher ups are making more money. That's the only thing that makes sense, and other things I'm sure I'm missing, because nonprofits, as for the last few years now, have had some issues in terms of what's going on. Now, I could go on to say that I want to make things better for everyone, but I know that's not what the executives and the presidents of these companies want to hear. That's not what they want to hear. As with any, you guys want to hear about more increased profit is what you want to hear. And hey, that's fine. For the deeds you're trying to do, even if it's noble, you need more profit. Wonderful. What I'm saying is there's a way to do that and everybody wins. The thing is, there is a way, there are a few ways that you guys can increase your profits, stabilize the online resale markets, provide better value to your customers, and better serve your communities more so than you are now, while also reducing waste in the communities and world in general. So that is what I'm selling. This whole thing has essentially been a pitch. That is what I'm selling. I'm not giving it away. I expect to be paid for this information because it is exceptionally valuable and would change the landscape of thrift as it is. And I know you're saying, well, this guy has no experience in anything. I don't need it. I have common sense, and I've been in multiple markets to see where businesses have done things that just don't benefit anybody, and I see the current state of the economy where it's going. None of what you're doing currently is working exceptionally well, and I'm sure you're having problems with things and you're not understanding what the answers are. I have those answers for you. Thrift needs to move into the modern day and age of how to sell with things, and I'm not talking online sales. That has nothing to do with this. The thrift model has not changed, and it needs to. We're seeing thrift be something that is just wrong. Again, you're becoming pawn shops. You're not even thrift anymore. There is a better, more profitable way to do things, and you guys are completely ignoring it. And I don't think you're going to find the answers in anything that's going to be in business school at this point, because those are also some outdated methods. Still necessary, but outdated. So I do apologize for the long video, but to wrap things up really quickly here, everybody can feel free to leave questions and comments. If you are from ARC or Goodwill, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be glad to answer some base questions, and I'm always willing to learn on things. So if you think I'm wrong, tell me where I'm wrong, and I'll be glad to look over that and learn more. For general comments for everybody, while I wrap this up, do you think thrift is headed in the wrong direction? Do you think that they will end up destroying the markets even more, or do you think they can turn this around?